Good day. How are you? Yeah.
Good day.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us to Are You Sure You Want to Know? Disruptive questions about faith, culture, and everything in between. I am Alvin. I am the outreach director at the Conversation SLC, and we are with Mike Rutledge. He is the head pastor of ConvesationSLC.church.
Hello.
How are you, Mike? What's
Yeah,
going on?
doing great.
So we have been talking about some pretty cool stuff, and today we're going to talk about one of the biggest, I don't know if you want to call it like the biggest cultural phenomenon in history.
The internet, the webs, Al Gore.
That's it,
Thank you,
interwebs.
Al Gore.
That's right. Al Gore created the internet. We're saying that publicly, definitively. No, it's called social media.
Yes.
That has a lot of people, that has changed a lot of people's lives for and against. A lot of great things have happened because of it. So I'm not going to poo-poo the entire thing. But I think that there has been an incredible amount of negativity that's come from that world. This is just a concept. This is just a thought. If you don't know who I am, and there's no practical way for you to know, and I'm faceless and anonymous, did you know that there is a thing that if I don't think that anybody, no backlash or anything, I will be more negative than what I would normally do if I was in a room.
Yeah, there's no accountability.
There it is. I would not stand on a soapbox or a couch or a kitchen table in a party and say these things, but I'm going to say it to you on social media, right?
That's part of the problem. One of the problems maybe with it is that it's too anonymous, and I can, I have all these people literally thousands of friends. Really, who has thousands of friends, right? That's in like social media. Friendship means very.
So
little.
what was it designed to do?
Well, I think Facebook was designed to be a networking system at a college.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
And so
Harvard.
And it was made to connect people and give them access to each other and help them feel closer. In the end, I would argue it may have accomplished quite the difference because we feel more isolated and alone. We've moved away from actual interactions to more digital interactions. And so it may, its inception, I think the concept was good, but where we are with it.
See, the thing is, though, is that, like, for example, let me just bring up a current social, a current social issue. They were banning TikTok, right? Because it is owned by a Chinese company. Mm-hmm. So they're like, they're stealing information. The only information that they've stole is what you've given them. So every time people start up a social media account, it asks for your demographics, right? Yeah. What your name is, what your, height, weight, and all, your birth date, where you live, and so on. And so there's this algorithm that it's created. So when they decided they were going to ban TikTok or bring it back, they said, okay, we will bring it back or buy it as long as you sell us the algorithm. They're like, okay, we'll sell you the platform, but we're keeping the algorithm because it's, intellectual property. That social media algorithm is literally promoting negativity. It really does. It pushes negativity. It says that social media algorithms can and often do amplify negative content, contributing to the spread of misinformation, polarization, and harmful ideologies. All you have to do is literally comment. So if you see an opinion that's different than yours, and you go into the comment section and you make a comment, even if you say, "Bro, that's wild. Why would you say something like that?" That's now curated for you. Now it's going to feed you that very same stuff.
Yeah. It's a little devious in how it goes about creating, and then you could go down the rabbit trail of all the fake news that's created and unverified stuff. In this isn't just social media. Social media is one of the platforms that's really been able to grab stuff and create false facts to steer conversations in 100 different directions. It's one of the problems with, again, the anonymous world, the digital world, is that stuff is presented as fact with no filters. Like, I read this stuff, I have no filter, no concept through which I'm evaluating this other than I'm seeing this for the first time.
Have you ever seen somebody make a definitive statement, but it was worded so well that you're like, that's got to be real, and so you run with it?
Right.
We do that all the time.
Yeah, we do. But we just have to be wise about, again, how we're doing this stuff.
You can use that same supercomputer that you just read that blurb and research that and not just type it into a Google, because Google is not research. But you could research that and come up with the real facts.
I mean, we're a Google nation, right?
I do it so much, man. My
Google
wife gets
is
so mad at me.
right?
Somebody will make a comment, and I'll be like, "Well, that's not real," because we were talking about without talking about which side of the political spectrum we are. They said, they're arguing about gas prices, and I said, well, there is actions that certain administrations have taken that has a direct impact. The president doesn't make the prices up; OPEC does. I'm like, oh my gosh, why do people say this stuff? And so I went then and I actually did research and showed them numbers, and they kind of backed out of the conversation. But I tend to do that a lot. My wife gets mad because I'll end up commenting like 12-inch comments. I'm backing it up with facts, but people don't do that. They'll read something and go, yeah, and then they're...
I mean, to be real, when's the last time you've had an argumentative comment that brought you closer to that person?
It never happens because I only defend something I value.
Yeah.
And so I build my identity around that. And so if you challenge that identity,
right,
then I think that you're challenging me.
I'm going to win. And that's a lot of what happens.
That's what creates antisocial behavior through social media.
Right. But I think the tool could be used. I mean, I'm seeing it. People use the social media in a lot of positive ways that really are helpful and valuable. But we're human beings, and so we do what we do, and it's not always good when we do what we do.
So where is our heart at, though? We seem to come around to that concept a lot. Where's our heart when we go on to these? So I started one, I'm a little older, so I started one for the very purpose that it was designed for. So I can keep in contact with, like, say, for example, my son, he's in another state. My mom, she's 5 hours away.
Yeah.
Some of my friends have gone to different states for college. So I've used that so I can keep, not keep tabs on them because I'm not that bad of a stalker. But like if I wanted to contact them and see what's going on with their life and hope that they have put something up there, that's what I used it for. But I had a tendency for a really long time to listen to that stuff. Like someone would say something divisive and I would just argue, and I never once felt good about that.
Right. Well, and I have a group of people like you're saying family. We have what's called in my text chain, it's called the OG family, and it's this group of us. So you think about this, and a lot of times it's nonsense, it's funny stuff, it's a picture of something crazy happening or whatever. You do that in a text, it's a closed network, closed-ish at least. Let's avoid all the
sure
all the stuff that could be happen to your information, but it's closed-ish, and so. That to me is a healthy version because I know the people I'm interacting with, they understand me a little bit. Now you take what you're saying, the very same thing. If I did an OG family in Facebook or Insta or whatever, now this is a public forum. So then what happens is you get people commenting in that I don't know who this person is. I don't understand how they make jokes. I don't know if they're being serious. I think they're being serious, but actually they're being snarky or whatever. And so there's all this unknown out there when you do it in a public forum with people you don't really know. It creates the opportunity. I've seen it in. Yeah, I see it in people close to me. They the political I'm trying to prove this. I'll post this, one side, the other side. It just, it doesn't end.
So I think that's very, very good point because when it comes to the stuff that we value, like truly, truly value, the public forum is not the way to make that stand. I don't think that you want to die on that hill on Facebook.
Yeah, let me, or even let's be a little more laid back about it. Okay, so this one cracks me up. Facebook post: "Happy birthday to my wife, my everything, the greatest woman I've ever." I'm thinking, why don't you just tell her that? Like, why do you post that for everyone to see? I believe you.
You want everybody to know that you're doting.
Yeah, it's just kind of like that's not a genuine use of Facebook. It's kind of like a look at me moment as I talk about my wife or whatever. And I'm just like, why don't you just pick up the phone, say those very same things to her, or wait till she gets home, or write that in a card or something like that. I don't know. I mean, just go back to posting pictures of your dinner instead.
Which is another thing I think.
That one, that's a personal pet peeve of mine.
I get so jealous.
Yeah.
Unless you're posting pictures of hot dogs, and then we're good to go.
Okay.
So how can I as a standard individual, because it took me a long time to be able to cultivate the kind of that negative algorithm. I've been able to turn it around for the most part to avoid all that negativity. So how can I? So as a person who's just getting into my Christ walk, how can I keep? Dude, oh my gosh, you're so right. I'm gonna just small tangent about my personal stuff. When people aren't looking, that's where our heart. That's who we truly are. People say, your character is defined by who you are, what you say, and how you act when no one's looking.
Yeah.
Right. Who am I when I close the door and get into traffic? I'm gonna admit to you, I'm not the best Christian in the world when I'm in traffic.
Yeah.
Right. So nobody could see my face on social media either. So I could, I could create that persona. So how can I, coming into this as a non-Christian and wanting to cultivate a biblical worldview, how do I do that on social media and not avoid it completely?
Yeah, I mean, you have to evaluate in your own heart, what is your ultimate goal when you're posting something? I tend to be like the kind of person, who, when I win my hockey tournament, which I've done twice in both tournaments that I played in.
There's only one guy on that team, right?
I'm the only one important guy. I scored one goal in the whole tournament. So anyway,
that's like hockey though. That's the only game in the world you can end with 0-0. You're like, what the heck?
But I tend to be the kind of person who I don't really view oftentimes individually. I'll post some fun stuff or interesting stuff. To me, I'm less focused on trying to make a point because, again, you're speaking into a silence of unknown, and people can respond wildly. And I think what we need to be thinking about, so as a church, I pastor a church, right? So when I speak, people are going to assume those are characteristics and qualities that the church would embrace. So I have to be really wise about that and think your life is bigger than you think it is because of social media. You're more exposed, you're more open. And for us, using social media to invite people to events, let them come. And I think ultimately social media should not be the end. It should be an invitation tool or an opportunity, especially as a church. Come see this, experience this for yourself, in flesh on flesh, understand, meet the people, talk to the people, get to know the people. And
we've created this a severe mental health issue. It's not, I wouldn't even call it antisocial. That's more like agoraphobia. Yeah. We've manifested because
digital agoraphobia. Probably
that's exactly right.
Yeah,
because I don't want to go. I don't want to go. That's too far.
Yeah,
it's too hot. Yeah. I can't afford the gas. I don't want to. I could just look at the pictures after you post it. Yep. We've created that so that people may want that, but if you're trying to redirect them back into the meat space, then that's going to be tough.
So I think you just post things that you believe to be valuable and be value added. I try not to be a controversial post person. I mean, there are. I think of one example of a church, Westboro Baptist, that is adamant about posting specific these divisive, argument-inducing kind of things to make their own point, right? And I don't think there's value in that. Healthy conversation happens face to face. And again, we say this all the time here at a church. It's one of our values. You should be curious. To take it from Ted Lasso, be curious, not judgmental. And really, ultimately, we should be more focused. If you don't understand someone or you disagree with someone, you should focus on understanding them better.
Understand them?
Understand them. Don't try and prove yourself right. Try and understand why they disagree with you.
So how would I go about doing that?
You ask questions. Don't make factual statements. Ask questions. Okay. And I think I don't remember who it was. Someone said it might have been Tim Mackey or someone or on one of his things. Everyone's theology, bad theology falls apart at question number 3. Here's the question and the answer. You dive in a little deeper by question number 3. It's kind of all over the place. And so as we,
it's called ADHD. That's not.
But but you have to be honest about trying to understand. And social media tends to be, I'm going to tell you what's right. I'm not really interested in listening to you. And so if it's an end goal, and my end goal is to prove to you something, okay, Andy Stanley says you can be right and you can write someone right out of your life because you're self-righteous, right?
Well, I mean, what if I truly believe the things that I'm saying. And there's, so for example, if I want to have an open conversation about the validity of Christ's teaching, I want to have an open conversation about the validity of, outrageous claims that the Bible makes. I want to have a very, candid conversation about the dead being able to resurrect. I want to have a valuable conversation about some of the hot points in divisive denomination arguments. How do I do that? Knowing, but feeling or believing or having faith in the stance that I have, but having an open conversation with you without becoming divisive. So Alfred Whitehead, he's a 19th century philosopher, he says, the worst thing that two people can do is allow a conversation to digress or deteriorate into an argument. And when you truly and passionately believe something, and that is something that you've built your identity on, nothing I could say or do should even change the way you feel. But shouldn't we be elastic in our thinking in some things? Can
Maybe.
we be influenced, but not change our entire identity?
I mean, I think it's a really dangerous place to be where we're not open to our own possibility of being wrong on things. That's a very dangerous place to live, I think. And so, but the question I have in response to what you're laying out there, do you have to win? Does someone have to prove, or can you just disagree? I mean,
Is that rhetorical?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean,
because I've made this statement, because my political stand is pretty obvious, and we have people in our congregation that's decidedly different. I mean, they have diametrically opposed ideas, and I want to know where they got that. Like, how do you feel when you think these things and know that they have no practical application in the world? Tell me why you believe that and why that is something that you're willing to die for. And so, but people who have opposing political views, it's almost never can they sit down in the same room and have a conversation and remain friends.
Well, it's hard because I think we want to prove,
right.
We want to win, we want to be right, and I think that we'll never arrive there. You won't be 100% right. First of all, let's start with that, and secondly, you won't be 100% successful in winning the argument, even if you are right. And so, talk about things that are true and what you believe, and be open to the fact that someone else has a different opinion, and you don't need to win. That's if you tell me something about your watch, and I don't know about the watch, and I've learned something new, do I have to have a better watch, or could we just have information? And I think we too often are willing to demonize and negativize what we're putting out there. I asked some people in the last presidential campaign, so tell me about your candidate. Why do you like your candidate? And they said, well, and they start talking about the other candidate, what they didn't like, and they immediately went into this negative spin on stuff. And I'm like, no, that's not what I asked. I want to understand why you like this person, because I truly wanted to understand what they were voting for, And so we need to, like, if I'm just putting a negative comment, I'm slamming someone. Like, would you do that? Just, you think of some of the negative posts you see, maybe, you see them out there and you're just like, would you ever walk up to someone and say that to them? I mean, probably a lot less likely to do that than you would on social media. That's the anonymous thing again. And so I just be open. Just have a conversation. Don't worry about winning. If you're, let's say you're 100% right and the other person doesn't agree, can you still be friends? Could you just walk away from that and go, I guess we just disagree?
So how can I'm not saying that. So people have this, preconception about how a Christian should behave. And that, in fact, that has been used against me more times than I can possibly imagine. And nobody ever, when I was
in social media.
Yeah. And like, let me give you an example. When I was an atheist and was making definitive statements about God, no one ever came to me or if I posted a picture of people helping each other, or like someone feeding the sick, or this person goes to Africa and created this system that creates clean water forever, out of the air. That was a really neat thing, by the way. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is what the world needs. And someone never, ever, ever came to me, hey, aren't you an atheist? Shouldn't you hate things like that? And no one ever did that. But now when I became a Christian, if I say something that's like, because they have a preconceived notion of what a Christian should behave, and they hear me say something, wait, aren't you a Christian? You know, yeah, I am, you know, and if I punch you in your face, I'm still going to be a Christian tomorrow. Right. I never said that, but I really wanted to.
Yeah, I know.
So that's the kind of stuff that I want people to consider when they're using social media. It's like, you're going to get that. Like, if I make a statement about something and they have a preconceived notion about what that looks like, or how a Christian should behave in that arena, and they're flavoring it with, you know, orange man's bad, and they've got that Trump derangement syndrome, or they believe that Kamala should have been president, and if I support either one of those, then I am no longer a Christian, or whatever, you know, however they view it. How can I keep approaching these things with Jesus in my heart and in my mind? Because people are inevitably going to be upset.
I would say exactly the same thing. Ask questions.
Okay.
You know, if someone has a different viewpoint than you, don't worry about winning them over. Just like if they, the question might be, hey, you said this, aren't you supposed to be a Christian? What do you mean by that? What does a Christian look like to you? Is there something negative, you know, and dive into some of those questions. Maybe you can help, you know, because if they carry that with them to the next conversation, they're going to have the same attitude, but maybe you could break down some of the, maybe they're disillusioned about something. Maybe they had a bad experience, or maybe they've witnessed some stuff. I'm sure they've witnessed some bad versions of what Christianity is like. And, you know, people call themselves Christian, but they don't act like it all the time. And, you know, I don't do it. You don't do it either. And so, if you can help break down the misunderstanding around what a Christian is, maybe you're having a different conversation then.
Definitely, because it's going to derail the current conversation for sure.
Yeah, you're never going to get any further if you have a preconceived notion about me, true or false, it's going to color the way we can communicate
forever.
And if it's false, we're not actually having very good communication, because you're believing something about me that's not really driving some of my thoughts. So get past that. Help break some of those walls down. Or maybe they might have a good point. Maybe there's some validity in what they say about Christianity, and we should consider that as well. So
there's
that's
a lot
how
of
to go about that.
There's a lot of behavior, and I can't own, because someone kept bringing stuff up like the Crusades and the Spanish Inquisition, and I can't own that stuff. Like you want me to own you know, the behaviors of every bad actor in the history of mankind, and I'm not requiring that of you. So why? Yeah. But I guess we've created that dynamic. The people who came before us have created a culture that you know, has allowed people to believe that we're supposed to be perfect.
Absolutely.
Because in the Bible it says that be ye perfect, for I am perfect. But when we look at, you know, what that word is, when we use the concordance and go digging around what that word is, and it means mature, but like the way it's written in the Bible, it says perfect.
In the English translation,
in English, we say perfect as in, you know, there's only one man ever in the history that's been perfect, and that's Jesus Christ. And so I think that if anybody ever has a question about what I should be saying when I post things, I think a really good way to do that is if we are doing what's in Galatians 5:22 and 23, it's the fruit of the Spirit. If type it out, okay? Now, I know you want to say, type it out. And then use these things: joy, love, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Weigh that statement with all of those fruit, with that whole basket of fruit right there. If it does not align with those things, don't post it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Again, we need to really be thinking about what is our ultimate goal with utilizing this neutral tool. Do we want to just post negativity out there? There's plenty of it. You can find it without your post.
Correct.
So
it's like throwing a match into a wildfire.
Yeah, you just there's lots out there. So ultimately, determine what you want to use the tool for, and make sure that what you're doing is going to that end. You know, positively spreading, sharing the gospel, or whatever it is. Asking questions, learning about people. Seeing what people had for dinner for the last, I don't know.
It's gotten bad. It's gotten bad to where we no longer want to engage in I said it before, I'm going to say a meat space. That's a weird thing, but that came from way before. That came in my era. So when I joined the military in 1995, it was literally, the internet was literally just being released to the public.
Yeah.
And so we had a lot of stuff that kids nowadays, they wouldn't have any concept, you know.
Right.
But we've created this antisocial social media cultural phenomenon. And I just want to just encourage everybody to get out there and just, reach out to your parents if they're in a different place and you can't afford to meet with them. Just reach out to them on the phone, man. Talk to them, hear their voice. Your friends, get in your car and drive to their house. I seen this really cool commercial one day. The guy sent him a text and he shows up and he knocks on the door. The guy opens up and he goes, LOL. And he goes, did you just answer a text in person? He's like, yeah. He goes, cool, come on in. Do that. Go see your friend. Be that guy. So
don't let it be a substitute for something real.
Yeah, man. Social media is a tool. Use it to encourage others. Use it to, glorify God. Use it to enrich your heart. Use it to enrich the lives of others. In fact, that's probably the best advice I can possibly give you. Don't think about you. Encourage someone else. Enrich someone else. Influence in a positive way some program or people. Make a difference. Make people. I'm easy. I'm an easy sell. My wife sees me all the time. I'll be on something and a kitty video will come on and I'll be bawling, tears streaming. She's like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, yeah, "No."
It's an allergic reaction.
Yeah, she's like, "That's okay. I love you. You're my nerd." But I encourage somebody. Twist somebody's heart in a direction of hope and not negativity. Yeah. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, I just, again, figure out what's driving your decisions, what's driving your values, what's driving your interactions. And when you go into the public market, people are going to evaluate you based on that. And if you're going to spread negativity, there's a definite platform for you to do that. Or if you want to try and understand someone better, there's a platform for that. If you want to spread love and joy and offer opportunities for you to serve others, that's all out there. It's a neutral platform that we get to use however we want.
Remember that wolf analogy?
The
you
wolf?
Have 2 wolves inside of you?
No.
And the only one that grows is the one you feed?
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
That's a really cool thing. So if you want to actually engage in something positive and encouraging, we invite you to comment. We invite you to come to our show. We invite you to call us and talk to us.
And go to our social media site.
Go to our social media site.
How about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So go and see something that is truly encouraging. Come and talk to us. We'd like to see you. We'd like to have a conversation with you. That's the reason why we're called the Conversation SLC. On the end of this, I kind of want to touch on, we have a really cool concept, the eyes. Go ahead and finish up the eyes.
Oh, yeah. We have 6 values that we embrace, and we use our body parts because what we believe is God wants us to be in a connected community that seeks the full life that he offers. He offers full life, and outside
we
him.
use the same analogy in Christianity. It's called the body of Christ.
Yeah, the body of Christ, exactly. And, so the eyes, ears, hands, heart, face. We have a biblical worldview. That's our eyes. Our ears, we want to be good listeners that are, curious.
And that's how we fix how do I have a conversation with you about differing ideologies without becoming enemies? It's listen.
Yep. So eyes, ears, hands, we just want to be people that are willing to serve, get our hands dirty for this. Heart, we want to create a place where people feel accepted and loved and safe, able to ask questions. Feet, we're going to follow Jesus in our face. We want to have these kind of communications, not face to the back of someone's head, right? So Andy Stanley would say circles over rows, and so we try and have as many circular conversations.
And then the most important one that makes us
is
the face.
The face.
Face-to-face conversations.
Yeah, face-to-face. That's what we want to do that. And again, like I said, go to our social media, but don't go there so you can live there and be a sort of a church voyeur. Go there to see what's going on so you can come join us, meet people, hang out. Yeah.
10 a.m. every Sunday morning. Come check us out. You can go on our website. It's ConvesationSLC.church. We'd love to hear from you. See you soon.
Bye.